Watch and burn.
Hey everyone, so I am trying out a new wireless mic, so my apologies if this doesn't sound as hot as my traditional wired lavalier does. I got these yesterday and I did a couple tests at home and I don't love it, but it's okay too, so I'll at least give it a shot, which as you can see I'm doing now. And so I figured, appropriately enough, considering where I am, I figured I would discuss one or more of the Friday the 13th, and I'll start with Friday the 13th Part 4, because this is the beginning of the Tommy Jarvis arc, and it's also sort of, it's framed as the final chapter, and that is appropriate because this is the end of Jason's human chapter. From this point forward, he becomes zombie Jason. He rises from the grave and he seeks a never-ending amount of vengeance on kids who make the horrible mistake of wanting to be camp counselors and have sex and smoke drugs. So, yeah, so like I said, this is the beginning of the Tommy Jarvis arc. Tommy Jarvis is, of course, portrayed by a very young Corey Feldman, who apparently, as of a couple years ago, has started to campaign for the reintroduction of Tommy Jarvis into the Friday the 13th universe, played by him, because in his opinion, he's the first Tommy Jarvis, and I don't think that's a good idea myself. Corey Feldman was a really talented child actor, but once he became an adult, I don't know. Became a hit and miss, and let's be honest, predominantly miss. So anyways, yeah, so Tommy and his sister and his mom are up at their sort of cottage, I assume. It's got to be a cottage, what else is up here? And they're hanging out. All the while, there's this dude backpacking around Camp Crystal Lake and the surrounding area, hoping to find Jason because Jason wiped out his family. And so he kind of buddies up with Tommy's sister. I believe her name is Trish, if memory serves, and they don't really get anything too romantic going, but I mean, I suppose that's what would be suggested initially, but it does not go there at all. He ends up being killed by Jason just like everybody else. And the reason that I love this Jason, or this chapter, sorry, in the, well, 10 parts, but 8 parts of Friday the 13th, is because I love how Jason is still human in this, but his strength has reached such sort of superhero heights that it seems like he's even more unstoppable than he was in Part 3, and I thought Part 3 Jason was like the ultimately intimidating Jason. But then Part 4 Jason rolls around, and this guy is just huge. Like, this Jason is so big, and he's just so commanding. And I really like the Tommy Jarvis arc, and I like how it continues through Part 5 with a new beginning, and I like how it concludes with Part 6. And I really appreciate that, because these movies, they're not really known for sort of their depth. They're not known for things like character development and having arcs. And so the only arc that I can really think of through this entire series is the Tommy Jarvis arc, and I love the Tommy Jarvis arc. And I think my favorite thing about this movie is the absolute end, when Jason gets the machete in the head from a young Tommy Jarvis who has shaved his head because he is also a makeup slash effects slash electronics slash computer genius, which, if this was a Marvel movie today, everybody would be making fun of that fact. But seeing as how this movie was made way back when, having a 10-year-old character who can do everything better than the adults around him just seemed kind of fun and sort of clever. But yeah, so he looks like a young Jason Voorhees when he's bald, right around the time that Jason drowns, and this confuses Part 4 adult Jason just in time for him to toss the machete into the side of his face. Jason falls over to the ground and then proceeds to slide through the machete, which I think is just about the most epic way that Jason has been taken out in this entire series. And now, of course, I guess that's a matter of opinion, but for me, it is definitely Jason's face sliding down the machete. And I love how it's done so realistically. Like, it doesn't just slide down nice and quick. It kind of, like, you know, it's got to get through bone, and it keeps getting caught on shit, and it's got to work its way through. The toy for Part 4, too, comes with an alternative head, where he's got the cut in his face, and you can put the machete in it. I thought that was rad, too. But yeah, I think my favorite thing about this is, like I said at the beginning, is this is the final chapter of the human Jason era, because from this point forward, he would become a zombie. Now, there's a whole fan theory about how it's actually not Jason anymore after part 6 takes off, because that's actually Roy from part 5, because from that point forward, Jason's a lot smarter. But I love part 4 because it's just so dark, and it's so ugly. And there's something about it, like all the Jason movies, or all the Friday the 13th, sorry, are dark. But this one seems to be lit darker intentionally. Like, I love the Jarvis house, and I love how the Jarvis house ended up being a level in the Friday the 13th game, too. I love how Crispin Glover's in this. I love how he gets a corkscrew in the hand and then a fucking butcher's knife to the face. And I love how his buddy, Teddy, is always fucking with him, saying how he's a dead fuck. I don't know. This movie's a lot of fun. And so, yeah. So I think I will stop there because I tend to just ramble. I love the fucking machete killing at the end when Jason slides down it. That is like the best thing ever. But yeah, so look, like always, if you liked this discussion or whatever the fuck this was, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please don't forget that most importantly, that the world is a better place because you are in it. And I'm going to go because at this point, these videos, they're not even coherent anymore. Fuck. Have a good day. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe. And we will see you guys really soon.